Ekatmana vapi bhuvi pura deha bedam gatau tau Chaitanya kyam prakatamaduna tadvayam chaikyam aptam Radha bhava dyuti suvalitam naumi Krishna svarupam Shri Radhaya pranaya mahima kiddisho vanayaiva Svadhyonena adbhuta madhurima kiddisho vamadiya Saukyam chasya maranubhavata kiddisham veti lophat Tadbhavatya samajani shachi Garbha sindhau harindu Sankarshana karana toyashayi Garbhodashayi chapayoptishayi Sheshaschayasyam shakalas nityananda kirama sharanam mamastu Mayatite vyapi vaikuntaloke purnashvarye Shri chaturvyuha madhye Rupam yasyodbhati sankarshanakyam Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye Maya Bharta Janda Sangha Shayanga Shete Sakshat Karanam Bhoti Madhye Yasya Kamsha Shri Pumanari Devas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye Yasyam Shamsha Srila Garbhodashayi Yanabhyajam Loka Sangatanalam Loka Sashtu Sutika Dhamadhatus Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye Yasyam Shamsha Paratma Kilanam Poshta Vishnu Bhati Dugdhabdishayi Kshani Bharta Yatkala Sopyanantas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye Mahavishnu Jagatkarta Mayaya Sarjatyara Tasyavatara evayam advaitacharya ishvara Advaitam harinadvaitat acharyam bhakti samshanat Bhaktavataram ishantam advaitacharya mashraye Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Svarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jayatam Surata Upangor Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasva Padam Bhoja Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratna Gara Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Preshtali Bhisevyamana Smarami Shriman Rasarasaram Bhivam Shiva Tatatastita Karshan Venu Svanayar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestuna Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Tina Thakur Godiyake Kariyachena Atmasat E tinera charana bandong tine moranata Grantera arambe kari Mangala charana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan tinera smarana Tinera smarane hoya Vigna vinashana Anayase hoya nija vanchita purana. Okay, we've managed to clear the room. And who's left standing? Who's left sitting? Those fortunate souls who get to hear from Krishna book. Okay, so we were reading from chapter 28, which is called Releasing Nanda Maharaj from the Clutches of Varuna. One time when Krishna was still young and still only a boy, and he had just lifted Govardhan Hill, which was part of the process for correcting Lord Indra, who had sent a deluge to Vrindavan, disturbing all of the village people and all of the animals. Right? It rained incessantly for several days. But this was not just a drizzle or an autumn shower. The rains that Indra sent were sufficient to inundate the universe. So Krishna protected the people and the animals by lifting Govardhan Hill. And by doing so, Indra came to his senses and realized that this Krishna is not an ordinary boy. Actually, he is my master. He is the Supreme Lord. So Lord Indra, after he had ordered his Samvartaka clouds to desist, and the sun rose again, and then Indra came before Lord Krishna in a secluded place and offered his prayers, admitting his folly, admitting his pride. Krishna accepted his prayers and his worship, and all was resolved. Indra was purified, and the residents of Vrindavan were all safe again. So after this happened, Nanda Maharaj took bath in the river Yamuna, but he took bath at a wrong time. He took bath at a time when he was not supposed to, and he was arrested by the agent of Varuna, the demigod of the water. So he was taken to Varuna's place, deep within the water. And Lord Krishna and Balaram traveled to that place in order to rescue their father. So we had a couple of pages left of this chapter. Yeah. Within the material world, every conditioned soul is in the darkness of ignorance. This means that all conditioned souls are under the concept of bodily existence. Everyone is under the impression that he is of this material world. And with this concept of life, everyone is working in ignorance in different forms of life. Right? We all think that I'm this body. This is me. Yes, and then we get a little bit disturbed as the body gets older or gets sick because we think this is happening to me. But we're not this body. The activities of the particular type of body are called karma, or fruit of action. All conditioned souls, being under the impression of the bodily concept, are working according to their particular type of body. These activities are creating their future conditioned life. Because they have very little information of the spiritual world, they do not generally take to spiritual activities, which are called bhakti yoga. So there's karma, material activities, and then there's bhakti yoga, spiritual activities. People generally don't take to bhakti yoga because they've got no information of the reality. The reality is that this material world is not our real home. We belong in the spiritual world, actually. And if everybody understood that their real happiness could be attained and secured by going there to the spiritual world, then certainly they would better appreciate bhakti yoga and be more serious about taking it up. If we had a very stark realization of the trials and troubles that we continually face in this world, then we would be much more serious about bhakti yoga. But the nature of Krishna's illusory energy is that it makes us think that everything is fine here, or that we will be able to achieve a happy life here. We don't realize that actually there are troubles here at every step. And what we think of as happiness is really just the temporary cessation of difficulty. Just like if someone is drowning in an ocean, they're in a very suffering condition. Yes? They're very much suffering. Especially if there's no buoyancy aid, right? No buoyancy aid, nothing to keep them afloat. Then they're spending so much bodily strength just to stay above the water. But if you're in a very rough sea, yeah, and the waves are continuously passing over you, there's not much you can do to get above the water. But occasionally you're able to put your face above the surface and take a gasp of air. Yeah? And when you are able to take in that gasp of air, you feel relief, happiness. But the very next moment, another wave will roll over the top of you. And again you will be pushed under. So this is the nature of material life. We're constantly struggling for happiness. And then we're also fighting to resolve our various problems and pains and heartaches. And every so often we get a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a rest, a little bit of hope, a little glimmer of light. And we think now everything is okay. Now everything will be okay. But experience teaches us that there's always a new trial. There is always a new challenge, a new tribulation. And therefore Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one who is able to be steady in the midst of material difficulty and so-called material happiness, that person is eligible for liberation. We will not put a stop to the material pains. We cannot hope for a successful end to our material problems while in the material world. We will be forced to accept inconvenience, loss, meeting with what we don't want to meet, and feeling separation from the things that we wish we had. These are the features, the inherent features of this material world. So, they say wake up and smell the coffee. Smelling the coffee means to see what is really the situation here. What are the conditions that we are forced to accept? And that requires looking at the situation with clear eyes. So then what is the hope? How do we actually face it and get through it? The simple answer is that we have to engage ourselves in bhakti yoga. Because karma will only exacerbate the problem. But the opposite of karma is bhakti yoga. And by bhakti yoga we can rise above all of the conditions of the material world. Krishna also says later in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who is always engaged in devotional service without fail immediately comes to the level of Brahman and rises above the conditions of the material energy. So even though so many disturbing things may occur all around us, we ourselves will not feel disturbance because we will be situated on the transcendental platform, the Brahmabhuta platform. And that requires practice. That requires a specific kind of activity, bhakti yoga activity. And bhakti yoga is not just once a week or half an hour a day at 5 o'clock in the evening. Bhakti yoga is for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that's possible if one understands bhakti yoga and has guidance in how to perform it. But this is the only hope for any of us, is the process of bhakti yoga. This will solve our material problem. And all other problems that we have are simply adjuncts of our one problem, which is that we have accepted a material body. If we had no material body, we would have no problems. Because, first of all, we would not have to grow old, we would not have to get sick, we would not have to die. And we also would not be in a place where everyone else has a material body, and therefore we would not have to suffer the conditions of material existence all around us. So we need a spiritual body. And how to get a spiritual body? We have to become perfect bhakti yogis. That is the only way to get a spiritual body. Spiritual body means Satchid Ananda Deha. Eternal. Never grows old. Never passes away. Imagine being completely satisfied with who you are. Imagine being completely happy with what you see in the mirror. Never having to feel inadequate or discontented, or that you must do X, Y, and Z in order to improve your appearance. None of that is required because you have an eternal, blissful, spiritual body which is full of knowledge. So this is the real solution to all problems. We must free ourselves of the conditions of this material world, and we must enter into the spiritual kingdom in a spiritual body. And thereby we will have Krishna's association. And we will love Krishna. Sorry, I'm having an urgent phone call. Please excuse me for 1 minute or less. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, I'm just in the temple in the middle of that Krishna Katha. That's all right. Okay, I'll be finished at 5 o'clock roughly. No, 6. No, Tuesday to Friday. Yeah. Thanks so much. Okay. Talk to you later. Okay, so where were we? Yes, material body, spiritual body. So Bhakti Yoga is the process by which we can attain a spiritual body. Why do we need a spiritual body? Because to associate with Krishna, we have to have a body that is spiritual. And why would we be associating with Krishna? Because every living entity has an eternal relationship with Krishna. A relationship that is based on natural affection, love. So that love is already there in each of us. It simply must be reawoken. We have an eternal relationship with Krishna. We love Krishna actually, but now we are in a state of forgetfulness. Yeah, we've forgotten our relationship with Krishna. And Bhakti Yoga will reawaken that relationship. And when that relationship is fully awoken, then there is no need to return to this material world, which is temporary and full of miseries. Okay, that sounds like a good proposition. So, what is this Bhakti Yoga? Well, this Bhakti Yoga is very simple, actually. Simple for the simple. We simply have to hear about Krishna and chant Krishna's glories. And Lord Chaitanya, who we celebrated the appearance thereof yesterday, he made it very, very simple by giving us this Maha Mantra to chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply by chanting this Maha Mantra, all perfection is possible. But hearing about Krishna goes along with this chanting of Hare Krishna. And therefore we're going to continue reading from Krishna book. So, the material activities of the souls in the world, these activities are creating their future conditioned life. Because they have very little information of the spiritual world, they do not generally take to spiritual activities, which are called Bhakti Yoga. So that's the problem. People don't have information. They don't know their real situation. They don't know the precarious nature of their existence. And what is their rightful inheritance? Where they actually belong and where they could be happy. So there's a great need of broadcasting this information, this knowledge all over the world. And if you come to the Hare Krishna temple and someone gives you this information, then now you have a responsibility yourself. You have to pay it forward. You have to pass it on. Get some books and distribute them to your friends, to your neighbors, to your community members. Tell them about Krishna. And tell them about Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. If you do this, then you become a guru. This is Lord Chaitanya's order. Yare deke tare kaha Krishna upadesh, amaragya guruha tare edesh. Whomever you meet, tell them about Krishna. And tell them about Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. In this way, you will become a guru and you will deliver all the people. This is the Lord's injunction. It is a very simple thing. It is only up to us to do it. That is all. So information is required. The whole world is burning due to a lack of knowledge. And if we have knowledge, then it is our responsibility to do our best to give this knowledge to the whole world. That is ISKCON. That is what this society is for. Because we're all on a sinking ship. We're in a burning house. And when the house is burning or the ship is sinking, do you get embroiled in so many petty quarrels over who has what and who said what to whom 5 minutes ago? No, one has to focus on what is actually important, what is the need of the hour. And the need of the hour is to broadcast the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. That is the only need. Srila Prabhupada writes, those who successfully practice Bhakti Yoga go directly to the spiritual world after giving up this present body. And there they become situated in one of the Vaikuntha planets. The inhabitants of Vrindavan are all pure devotees. Their destination after quitting the body is Krishna Loka. So Krishna Loka means the highest planet in the spiritual world, where Krishna is not served with awe and veneration like a king. Rather, he is served with intimacy, uninhibited love. He has his friends, his parents, his girlfriends. And they don't even recognize that he's God. They just love him. This is Krishna Loka. So the inhabitants of Vrindavan on this earth 5,000 years ago when Krishna was present, they were all pure devotees. And their destination after quitting the body was certainly Krishna Loka. They even surpassed the Vaikuntha Lokas. The fact is that those who are always engaged in Krishna consciousness and mature pure devotional service are given the chance after death to gain Krishna's association in one of the universes within the material world. Krishna's pastimes are continuously going on, either in this universe or in another universe. Just as the sun globe is passing over many places across the earthly planet, so Krishna Lila, or the transcendental advent and pastimes of Krishna, are also going on continuously, either in this or another universe. The mature devotees who have completely executed Krishna consciousness are immediately transferred to the universe where Krishna is appearing. In that universe, the devotees get their first opportunity to associate with Krishna personally and directly. The training goes on, as we see in the Vrindavan Lila of Krishna within this planet. Krishna therefore revealed the actual features of the Vaikuntha planets, so that the inhabitants of Vrindavan could know their destination. So it was described earlier in this chapter how Krishna revealed to the residents of Vrindavan the spiritual world. He revealed to them the different Vaikuntha planets and reassured them that this was their destination after leaving the present body. This is very instructive. That first of all, if one is a mature devotee in this material world, then one will get an opportunity to take part in Krishna's Leela somewhere, in some universe where the Lord is appearing. This is the first destination. And there, the training will go on. And when the training is complete, one will enter into Krishna Loka in the spiritual sky. Thus Krishna showed them, right, the residents of Vrindavan. He showed them the eternal, ever-existing spiritual sky, which is unlimited and full of knowledge. Such a simple description of the spiritual sky, unlimited and full of knowledge. Within this material world, there are different grades of forms, and according to the grade, knowledge is proportionately manifested. For example, the knowledge in the body of a child is not as perfect as the knowledge in the body of an adult man. Everywhere there are different grades of living entities. In aquatic animals, in the plants and trees, in the reptiles and insects, in birds and beasts, and in the civilized and uncivilized human forms of life. Above the human form of life, there are demigods, charanas and siddhas, on up to Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma lives. And among these demigods, there are always different grades of knowledge. So we think we have some knowledge right here on this earth, in this human form of body. We think we're very proud of our knowledge, right? And we consider the animals to be dumb creatures. But comparatively, we are in ignorance relative to the demigods on the higher planets. What is their knowledge? What do they have access to that we can only imagine, can't even imagine it? And among these demigods even, there are always different grades of knowledge. But beyond this material world, in the spiritual sky, everyone is in full knowledge, and therefore all the living entities there are engaged in devotional service to the Lord, either in the Vaikuntha planets or in Krishna Loka. So this is the whole point of knowledge, right? Everyone in the spiritual world is engaged in devotional service because they have complete knowledge, full knowledge. So they know that Krishna is the source of everything, the soul of all souls, the self of all selves, and that each of us is a part of Krishna, and we are meant to cooperate with His enjoyment. And no one has a problem with that. There's no objection to that. There's no revolting. No one is revolting at the idea that there is God who is the center of enjoyment, and that I can be happy by participating, cooperating with His enjoyment. In fact, that is the only real way in which I'm able to enjoy. The meaning of life is to enjoy. Otherwise, why exist? Why have life? Why be? What is the point in being or doing anything? We're simply seeking some happiness, pleasure, enjoyment. That is life. That is the meaning of life. But real enjoyment means to recognize that I cannot enjoy separately from the complete whole. I am just a tiny fragment, a tiny spark of the complete whole. If I want to enjoy separately, that is not possible. Just like any limb of the body cannot be a happy, healthy, functioning limb if it is separated from the body. It must receive energy from the stomach. So the hand, the fingers, they have to serve the stomach by placing food in the mouth. And by doing so, the energy from the food is directed, redistributed back to the hand. So this is the cooperative nature of the complete whole. Every part of the complete whole is meant for the purpose of the complete whole. So real enjoyment means how to cooperate with the enjoyment of the center. How to serve the center. If we do this, we will actually feel tangible spiritual happiness. And if we don't do it, we will be like the animal running after water in the desert. The animal sees the oasis in the desert. It's just on up ahead, a short distance away. And the animal is running in the hot desert, thinking that the oasis is just a little further ahead. Does the animal ever arrive at that oasis? What is that oasis? What actually is that oasis? It's called a mirage. Mirage. Due to the tricks of light on the surface of the hot desert, it appears as though there is some reservoir of water. And the animal is running to catch that oasis. But as much as that animal runs, the oasis remains elusive. It always remains at a distance. So happiness in the material world is exactly like that. We think that happiness is just on up ahead. To any moment now, just around the corner, right? Once I get this thing sorted out, once I get that problem solved, once I have my children settled, once we get that inheritance, once we solve this, once we get that, happiness will be there. And maybe a little bit of relief one will find for some short time. But that cannot last. And it's not actual happiness. It is simply a momentary respite from the material misery. That's all. Just a respite. Just a break. It's not positive happiness, really. Positive happiness means to experience happiness on the spiritual platform, on the transcendental platform. So beyond this material world, in the spiritual sky, everyone is in full knowledge, and therefore all the living entities there are engaged in devotional service to the Lord, either in the Vaikuntha planets or in Krishna Loka. Vaikuntha means free from anxiety. There's no anxiety there. In the material world, everybody's anxious. To greater and lesser degrees, anxiety. But anxiety is everywhere in this material world. Why? Simply because we live in a place where everything that we value, everything that we hold dear, ultimately will not exist. It's called asat, that which will not exist. So this places us naturally into anxiety because we want to maintain everything that we have built, everything that we have acquired, and everything that is important and dear to us. We want to keep it. We want to maintain it. We want to hold on to it. But the very nature of this world is that nothing can be kept. It is only a matter of time before it falls apart, disintegrates, or is lost. Asat, not eternal, temporary, disappearing, ephemeral. Who can relax? Who can be comfortable in such a place? Only the Paramahamsa or the fool. These are the only two people that can be happy in the material world. One who is completely above this material world, even while living in it, that's called Paramahamsa. They're completely transcendentally absorbed. They're absorbed in the spirit, absorbed in Krishna's service. They have no business in this material world, nothing to gain here, and not attached to anything. And the other person that is happy is the fool, who is in abject ignorance about his condition. As it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, full knowledge means knowing Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated that in the Brahmajyoti, or spiritual sky, there is no need of sunlight, moonlight, or electricity. All the planets there are self-illuminating, and all of them are eternally situated. There is no question of creation and annihilation in the Brahmajyoti, or spiritual sky. The Bhagavad Gita also confirms that beyond the material sky, there is another eternal spiritual sky where everything is eternally existing. Direct knowledge of the spiritual sky can be had only by great sages and saintly persons. who have already surpassed the influence of the three material modes of nature by engaging in devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada is telling us that full knowledge means to know Krishna as the Supreme Lord. And Krishna's spiritual world is self-illuminating. There's no need of a sun, no need of a moon. Every planet is offering enough illumination for everyone. There's no creation there, nothing comes into being. There's no annihilation, nothing is destroyed. Everything there is eternally existing. But knowledge of that place can only be had by great sages and saintly persons. How do they surpass this material world? How do they get direct knowledge of the spiritual sky? It is said that only by engaging in devotional service, Krishna consciousness. Unless one is constantly situated on that transcendental platform, it is not possible to understand the spiritual nature. So if we want to go there, if we want to experience for ourselves that spiritual sky, then we have to become constantly situated on that transcendental platform. And thus our spiritual masters, they tell us that the essence of all advice is to engage oneself all the time in hearing and chanting the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, following in the footsteps of the Lord's intimate devotees. This is the essence of all advice. If one is able to absorb one's mind, one's body, one's speech in topics of Krishna, then one can rise above all of these material conditions and know practically, personally, experientially the spiritual world. This is possible. So how can we do it? I can't just spend all of my time chanting Hare Krishna or reading these books or attending some discourse given by devotees. I have bills to pay, I have children, I have meals to cook. So many demands are placed upon me. Okay, but you can make a start, right? We can make a start. And then the chief personality in this universe, Lord Brahma, who is a great devotee of Krishna, he says that you don't have to change your position. You don't have to walk away and go to the forest. You can stay doing as you're doing. But just add one thing. Just add one thing. Jnane prayasa mudapasya namanta eva. Jivanti san mukaritam bhavadiya vartam. Stane stita shutikatam tanuvang manobhir. Ye praya shojita jito pyasitaistir lokyam. He says, stay where you are, but give up the process of imagining or speculating about what is real, what is true. Stop making it up. All you have to do is hear about God, hear about Krishna, from the mouths of devotees of Krishna. And dedicate your body, your mind, your speech to those vibrations. That is all that is required. Stay where you are, do what you do. Yeah, you can remain in your social position, but add this one thing. Give your attention, give your hearing power, and give your own speech to the vibrations of Krishna's great devotees. Sanmukaritam, Bhavadiya Vartam. That is all. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're reading from Krishna book. These are the words spoken by someone who knows Krishna intimately. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, right, whose murti is at the back of the temple room. Srila Prabhupada established all of these ISKCON centers in so many countries all over the world. He made devotees all over the world. Before Srila Prabhupada, no one was able to make devotees of Krishna on every continent. Srila Prabhupada did it. He knows Krishna intimately. And he left us these transcendental treasures in order that we could hear him. And by hearing him, Krishna, who is Ajita, who is not to be conquered by any method, he's unconquerable. God is not conquerable. But he agrees to be conquered by one who takes up this path. Stane stita shrutigatam tanavang manobhir. Yai prayasho jita jitopya sitaistrilokyam. The Lord is not conquerable in all the three worlds. But if one gives up the speculative process of trying to work out what is real, what is true, and simply lends one's ears and one's attention to the words of great devotees and dedicates one's life to those vibrations, then Krishna agrees to be conquered. This is the process. This is how we can begin Bhakti Yoga. Stay where you are. Do what you do. Yeah. And when you get time, hear. Open the book. Read with your family members. Or come together and chant Hare Krishna. And if you're not sure how to do it, then find a society of devotees who are doing it already and learn from them. And if we cannot find such a society, but we have the book, open the book, read it, and pray to Srila Prabhupada to send us devotees who can help us make progress. So Bhakti Yoga, to realize the spiritual world and to enter that place. Srila Prabhupada continues, therefore it is recommended that one should take to Bhakti Yoga and keep himself engaged 24 hours a day in Krishna consciousness, which places one beyond the reach of the modes of material nature. One in Krishna consciousness can easily understand the nature of the spiritual sky and Vaikuntha Loka. The inhabitants of Vrindavana, being always engaged in Krishna consciousness, could therefore very easily understand the transcendental nature of the Vaikuntha Lokas. Thus Krishna led all the cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, to the lake where Akrura would later be shown the Vaikuntha planetary system. I'm going to read that sentence again. Thus Krishna led all the cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, to the lake where Akrura would later be shown the Vaikuntha planetary system. They took their bath immediately and saw the real nature of the Vaikuntha Lokas. After seeing the spiritual sky and the Vaikuntha Lokas, all the men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, felt wonderfully blissful. And upon coming out of the lake, they saw Krishna, who was being worshipped with excellent prayers. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 28th chapter of Krishna, releasing Nanda Maharaj from the clutches of Varuna. So Krishna's family members and associates in Vrindavan, they were all shown the spiritual world by Krishna's grace. And how were they able to see it? Because they were all great bhakti yogis. That is how they were able to see it. So if we also want to see that place, that spiritual world, We must become bhakti yogis. And bhakti yoga begins with hearing. So simply by coming to the temple and hearing speeches about Krishna, spoken by Krishna's devotees, we are engaging in the process of bhakti yoga. If we hear with attention and eagerness, not formally, not officially, but we want to render some service to Krishna. We want to have a connection with Krishna. We want to have a relationship with God. How can we establish our relationship with God? We have to begin simply by hearing about Him from these books, and therefore we've got so many of these books. You can burn all other books, and you would still have enough of these books to keep you busy for your whole life. In fact, you can drop practically everything else and be very much busy your whole life in these books and still not feel satiated, still not feel that you have learned everything. These are miraculous books. These are not ordinary books. These are very, very special books. So get as many as you can and give them to everyone that you meet. This would be a good plan. If you can do that, I will offer my obeisances to you thousands and thousands of times. Okay, chapter 29. The Rasa Dance, Introduction. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is stated that the Rasa Dance took place on the full moon night of the Sharat season. From the statements of previous chapters, it appears that the festival of Govardhan Puja was performed just after the dark moon night of the month of Kartika. And thereafter, the ceremony of Bhradra Dvitiya was performed. Then the wrath of Indra was exhibited in the shape of torrents of rain and hailstones, and Lord Krishna held up Govardhan Hill for 7 days until the 9th day of the moon. Thereafter, on the 10th day, the inhabitants of Vrindavan were talking amongst themselves about the wonderful activities of Krishna. And the next day, Ekadashi was observed by Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's father. On the next day, Dvadashi, Nanda Maharaj went to take a bath in the Ganges and was arrested by one of the men of Varuna. Then he was released by Lord Krishna. Then Nanda Maharaj, along with the cowherd men, was shown the spiritual sky. In this way, the full moon night of the Sharat season came to an end. The full moon night of Ashvina is called Sharat Purnima. It appears from the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna had to wait another year for such a moon before enjoying the rasa dance with the gopis. At the age of 7 years, he lifted Govardhan Hill. Therefore, the rasa dance took place during his 8th year. Right? 8th year. Krishna was 8 years old when he enjoyed this rasa dance. From the Vedic literature, it appears that when a theatrical actor dances among many dancing girls, the group dance is called a rasa dance. When Krishna saw the full moon night of the Sharat season, decorated with various seasonal flowers, especially the malika flowers, which are very fragrant, he remembered the gopis' prayers to goddess Katyayani, wherein they prayed for Krishna to be their husband. He thought that the full moon night of the Sharat season was just suitable for a nice dance. So their desire to have Krishna as their husband would be then fulfilled. The words used in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam are Bhagavan Api. This means that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus has no desire that needs to be fulfilled, because he is always full with 6 opulences, he still wanted to enjoy the company of the gopis in the rasa dance. This is interesting. Although the Lord, right, is the Supreme and has no desire that needs to be fulfilled, Because he has everything? What are the 6 opulences? Does anybody know? What are these 6 opulences that Srila Prabhupada is describing here? What are the 6 things that everybody in this material world is crazy about? Everybody's running after them. Come on. I don't need to tell you some of them. Tell me.
Money.
Okay, good. Wealth. Yes, that's 1. There are 5 more.
Health.
What would health come under, Prabhu? What do you think? Which of the 6?
Renunciation, fame, power.
Yes. But what specifically, like good health, good bodily health, what would that come under? Which category would that come under? Would it come under wealth, you think?
Yeah.
I think it would come under wealth, personally. Or maybe beauty, huh? If you have health, you also might have some beauty. Okay, so we've got wealth, yes? And health is included, okay? But I'm looking for other things. I'm looking for 5 other things.
Power.
Power, okay, strength. Virya. Okay? So we've got wealth, we've got strength. Anything else anyone's mad after?
Beauty.
Beauty.
Maya.
Okay. Pardon?
Maya.
Maya. What do you mean by Maya?
Moh and Maya is desire, something you want to know. Yes.
Okay, yes. So Maya means, specifically, Maya means Krishna's energy. Yes. And anything that you can possibly want is going to be Krishna's energy. Right? Because there's nothing except Krishna and his energy, so what else is it? What can you get? So we're all running after things that are made of Maya, Krishna's energy, because they're very attractive. Why are they very attractive? Because Krishna is the most attractive. Why is Krishna the most attractive? Because he has all of these 6 things. He has the most wealth. He has the most strength. Yeah? That's 2. There's 4 more. 4 more things everyone's crazy about in this world, or any world. Okay? We said, right, beauty, wealth, strength, beauty. Yeah? 3 more. Fame, yes. Knowledge. Okay? Yes. Peace. We say renunciation. Vairagya. Right? I don't need anything. Yeah? Nothing's bothering me. I'm quite happy. Okay? Peace. Vairagya, renunciation. So these 6 things. Right? Everyone wants a great degree of wealth in order that they can secure varieties of enjoyment for themselves and their family members and their loved ones and for all humankind. Right? Yes, sure. Wealth. Strength. We want power. Influence. We want beauty. Huh? If I have beauty, everyone's looking at me. People, beautiful people tend to receive, I've noticed, nicer treatment. Somehow or other, right? If someone's very beautiful, everyone thinks, everyone's very nice to them, polite. The goddess of fortune walked into Vrindavan. Actually, she wasn't the goddess of fortune. She was a witch, Putana. But she had a very special power. She could make herself look very, very attractive. And everybody just, stood aside and let her come through. Oh, she's so wonderful. She's so beautiful. Beauty is very enchanting. Everybody wants beauty. How many beauty products are there in the market or in the shop? It's insane. So many products to enhance the beauty, to maintain the health, to keep our appearance. So we're crazy for beauty, right? Wealth, strength, beauty, fame. Okay? Not everybody is into, anyway. Fame is very valued. Knowledge is very valued. And renunciation. Someone who is, we say cool, he's really cool. Yeah? Which means he's very detached. He's kind of content with himself. He's not chasing anybody or anything. Oh, he's really cool. She's really cool. That's attractive. That's very attractive. So Krishna is the most cool. He's the most attractive because he has all 6 of these things to the greatest, to the unlimited degree. You can't imagine what is the extent of Krishna's wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, renunciation. Cannot imagine it. So even though he has all of these things, even though he's Bhagavan, Bhagavan means he is filled with all of these opulences. Still, he wanted to enjoy the company of the gopis in the rasa dance. Otherwise, what would be the point of being God if he was not able to enjoy interaction with his devotees in various relationships? You can have a lot of stuff, or you can be beautiful. You can have a lot of money in the bank. You can be very strong. You can be very famous. You might know everything, and you may be very detached and peaceful, right? But if you're on your own, how long can you be happy? Well, Krishna could be happy for a long time on his own. But still, he wants to enjoy with others. So, eko bahusyam. The one becomes many for the purpose of enjoyment. So that's God. God wishes to enjoy with many. Therefore, he has many. He has many devotees. And he enjoys varieties of relationships with his devotees. Bhagavan api signifies that this dance is not like the ordinary dancing of young boys and young girls. Okay, very important. This is not ordinary dancing. The specific words used in Srimad Bhagavatam are Yogamaya, Upashrita, which mean that this dancing with the gopis is on the platform of Yogamaya, not Mahamaya. Mahamaya means Krishna's material energy, and Yogamaya means his spiritual energy. So this dancing of Krishna with the gopis, the young cowherd girls, this is on the spiritual platform. This is not material, lusty affairs. The dancing of young boys and girls within the material world is in the kingdom of Mahamaya, or the external energy. The rasa dance of Krishna with the gopis is on the platform of Yogamaya. The difference between the platforms of Yogamaya and Mahamaya is compared in the Chaitanya Charitamrita to the difference between gold and iron. Okay? Gold and iron, very different. From the viewpoint of metallurgy, gold and iron are both metals, but the quality is completely different. Does everybody agree that gold and iron? Yeah? If I say, here, have my gold, and you take it and you have a look and it doesn't look very golden, and you say, this is not gold, this is iron. I say, no, they're both metals. Huh? Gold and iron, they're both metals, they're all one. Will you be happy? No, you'll say, I want gold, not iron. Okay. So the quality is completely different. Similarly, although the rasa dance and Lord Krishna's association with the gopis appear like the ordinary mixing of young boys and girls, appear like the ordinary mixing of young boys and girls, the quality is completely different. The difference is appreciated by great Vaishnavas, great devotees of Krishna, because they can understand the difference between love of Krishna and lust. This is the difference. In the material world, so much of or almost all of the affairs between men and women are based on lust. But in the spiritual world, Krishna's dancing with the gopis is entirely an exhibition of spiritual love. They're completely different. There are worlds of difference between these two kinds of dancing. So we're going to continue with this narration tomorrow, because now we have Bhagavad Gita class. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Shri Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Shri Mad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. So we're going to have the Bhagavad Gita class now, but before that we will recite a small prayer. And this is prayers glorifying the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. So it's talking about his different leelas that he does. So please join along. It's very simple. So the way we do it is I will first sing one line, and then it's you respond. So it's like a call and respond manner. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Jaya Vraja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vrajajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Thank you all for joining. So before we move on to the verse, we'll recite some prayers. So again, it's a call and response. So please follow if you can. That would be nice. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll be reading the verse 15 from chapter 5 as it's displayed on the screen. So again, it's the call and response manner. So I will recite the first line and then you can try and follow, and then we'll continue till the last line. And then maybe some of you can recite if you feel confident enough. Nadate kasyachit papam, na chaiva sukritam vivu, agnane navritam jnanam, tena muhyanti jantavaha, Nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vivuhu agnane navritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vivuhu agnane navritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Anyone would like to recite? Nadate kasyachit papam agnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vivuhu agnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Anyone else would like to recite? Would you like to give it a try? You were doing so well. Okay, so we'll move on to the translation. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their knowledge. Purport. The Sanskrit word Bhivu means the Supreme Lord who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. He is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put in certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. The living entity is, by superior nature, full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by the ignorance due to his limited power. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Bhivu, or omniscient, but the living entity is Anu, or atomic. Because he is a living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. Such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord, and so, when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the actions and reactions of the particular situation which may be desired. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with a circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma, or the Supersoul, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul, as one can smell the flavor of a flower by being near it. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Man proposes and God disposes. The individual is not therefore omnipotent in fulfilling his desires. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of the minute independent living entities. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to him and be eternally happy. The Vedic hymns therefore declare, Esaho yaiva sadhu karma karyati tam yam abhyam lokebhya unnisate eshahu eva sadhu karma karyati yam adho ninishate. The Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so that he can be elevated. The Lord engages him in pious activities so that he may go to hell. This is from Kaushitaki Upanishad, verse 3.8. Agnujantur anishoyam atmana sukha dukkhayo ishware prerito gachet sarvagam vashvarbhram evacha. The living entity is completely dependent in his distress and happiness. By the will of the Supreme, he can go to heaven or hell, as a cloud is driven by the air. Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience. And under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. The Vedanta Sutra 2.1.34 also confirms this. Vaishamya nagrayena spakek satva tatha hi darshayati. The Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, though he appears to. So now we will read some invocation prayers, and those of you know can recite along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Malitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lagunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for assembling here, and also to those that are watching online. This is a very last-minute prepared class. As how many of you were here yesterday for the festival? Anyone? Hariko. So we had a very special festival yesterday, the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, who is in the center, the tiny deities in the middle. And it's a very special occasion for us Vaishnavas, because it also marks the New Year for Vaishnavas, and we had a grand celebration. So yeah, I was busy preparing for that, and I had the class today. So hopefully, I am praying and seeking for your blessing that I am able to deliver something of benefit to you all, and also for my purification. So, yeah, this is a very interesting verse because, it answers one of our deepest philosophical questions. Is God responsible for our suffering? Who thinks that God is responsible for our suffering? Anyone? Any hands? No? But I mean, in verse 9.6, he also says that not even a single blade of grass moves without his sanction. So, why does all the calamities happen in the world? Why do we suffer? If nothing happens without his will, then why are we suffering? Good question, right? I'm sure everyone must have thought about it at some point of time. So let's see if we can answer this question in this class. But before we go to that, let's quickly have a recap of what we have covered in this chapter so far, as we're on verse 15. So this chapter is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. And in the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna is confused again. He was confused in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita and he's confused again. So he asked Krishna a question. Krishna, you sometimes praise renunciation and sometimes karma yoga. Which is better? Because in the whole chapter, in the previous chapters, in the chapters 2 and 4, Krishna, he has glorified knowledge, sometimes he has glorified renunciation, and Krishna also asks him to fight. So Arjuna is wondering, like, which is superior? Is renunciation superior, or is working in devotional superior? So Arjuna is thinking, should I just renounce everything and go to the forest and just meditate somewhere? Or should he act and actually follow Krishna's instruction to fight? So that is his confusion. And Krishna immediately responds to his question in the next verse itself, in verse 2. And Krishna says that both renunciation of work and work in devotion, they lead to liberation. But of the two, karma yoga is better. Did anyone think that would be the answer? I mean, naturally would think, isn't it, renunciation is better than karma yoga? Why should we be acting if we can just go into the forest and meditate somewhere? But no, Krishna is saying that, yes, he's not rejecting renunciation over here. He's not saying that renunciation is bad or we shouldn't do renunciation. But because Arjuna asked, which is superior, Krishna is just telling him that karma yoga is better. And he's saying that because in this day and time, how many of us can actually renounce everything and just go to the forest and meditate, sit and meditate? Any super soul here? Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, forget going into the forest. How many of us can even just renounce things and come and live in an ashram life, taking up an orange robe and just give up all the family life and work and every other responsibility? It's a difficult choice, isn't it? Yes, and Krishna knows that very well, because as it's mentioned in the purport, Prabhupada says that he's a Paramatma and he knows everything. He's sitting right next to our soul and he sees everything. He sees our desires. So knowing that, that's why for us, he's saying that it's better that we perform act keeping Krishna in the center, which is karma yoga. And he also says, I mean, it's also artificial renunciation without actually purifying the heart. It just leads to hypocrisy. Because externally, we may renounce everything, but internally, we will be meditating upon the same things that we have renounced. So what's the point? So rather, that's why Prabhupada also explained this, that one suddenly cannot renounce unless the heart is pure. So that's why Krishna is saying it's better you act, but keep me in the center. And later on in the next few verses, Krishna is further deepening this, what he's trying to explain. So he's trying to explain what real renunciation is. And real renunciation is not giving up all the external things that we think of. It is actually from internal. He's talking about giving up attachments, the innumerable attachments that we have, the desire for fruit. Whenever we are acting something, we're always desiring as a result of that, isn't it? And also the false identification as the doer. So he's saying, give up attachments, give up desire for fruits, and false identification as the doer. We need to understand that we are not the doers. It's actually, we are just the instruments. The doer is actually we are acting under the material nature, the prakriti. And in 5.3, Krishna says that One who neither hates nor desires the fruit of activities is known to be always renounced. So again, renunciation is not internal, but renunciation is internal, not external. And then in verse 4 and 5, Krishna goes on to comparing jnana and karma yoga. And he says that both these actually lead to the same goal. Those who are immature, they think that knowledge and action are actually different, but the wise, they can see that either you take the path of jnana, or you take the path of karma yoga. At the end, you will reach the goal, which is purification and self-realization. But we need to understand that without devotion, just having the knowledge, just attaining jnana is difficult. In 5.6, he says that renunciation without devotional service is difficult and causes distress. Then from verse 7 to 13, Krishna is trying to describe what actually a realized person looks like. So that person who is able to renounce everything, what does he look like? So the self-realized soul thinks that actually I don't do anything. I am not the doer. Because he is just acting externally. He's performing his activities, the body that he has received in this birth. He's fulfilling his responsibilities, and everything that he needs to be done, he's doing. But internally, he's not attached to anything. Because he understands that he is not this body. He is the soul. So as a soul, he has no attachment to anyone. Not everything that he has in this life is Krishna's gift to him, and he is just here to perform his duty and dharma, and that's what he does. So in 5.10, Krishna says that one who offers his work to the Supreme is not affected by sinful actions. Here Krishna is introducing the key theme that action offered to him does not bind. Because anything that we do, whether be it pious or impious, we have to bear the result of it. If we perform pious activities, then we get the result accordingly. Maybe some of them we get immediate reactions. So let's say if we studied really hard for our exams and we go write the exams, we get good results, and as a result of that we maybe get a good job. And some of them takes maybe another lifetime. So if we perform pious activities, maybe next life we will get a birth in a family with all riches or opulences, or even better than that, we will get a demigod life. But that does not free us from the main problem of this earth, which is, yes, repeated cycle of birth and death. It does not free us. Even if we become Brahma, which is like the highest living entity that anyone can attain, even then he has to go through the cycle of birth and death. So, same if we perform sinful activities, then we receive the results. Sometimes immediately, or otherwise we go to hellish planet and we are tortured there, and again it's the same repeated birth and death. So that's why Krishna is making it clear over here that if you actually perform your act and then offer it to me, that does not bind you, and it frees you from all this bondage. And then we reach verse 14, which is just the one before this, where the Lord is saying that the Lord does not create activities, nor doership, nor the fruits of action. And in continuation of that, in this verse, he's saying that nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. So far, the flow of logic is that Krishna is saying to Arjuna, to the answer of Arjuna's question, that you must act, do not renounce artificially, but act without attachment and offer all the results to me. Understand that you are not the doer, and the Lord is not responsible for your karma. And in today's verse, we also learn that it's actually the ignorance that is covering our knowledge, which is causing the bondage. So now, coming to today's verse, before that, I would just ask, why is actually Krishna emphasizing this? Why is Krishna trying to emphasize this point? That he does not take responsibility of our sin or pious activities. Sorry?
When we
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to put this straight, because oftentimes when we do something wrong, or some kind of we are in some kind of problems, we're like, God made me do this. If God is the supreme, then he is responsible for everything. Why should we take responsibility? But that's exactly as Kishore said, that Krishna is establishing the personal responsibility over here. He's telling us that you need to be responsible for your actions. And Prabhupada also writes that the living entity is always bewildered by ignorance, and thus he acts. The key word in this verse is ajnana, which is ignorance. So it's actually our ignorance that is covering our knowledge, and because of which we perform the acts that we perform. And even though, yes, Krishna is the supreme, but he is not responsible for our actions. And in this verse, Krishna is described as Vibhu, the supreme, the greatest. Does anyone remember what does that mean? It was explained in the purport. 6 opulences.
The richest, the most famous, the strongest,
Uh-huh.
the most renowned, the most beautiful,
Sorry?
the most intelligent.
Was intelligent. Perfect. Yes, actually. So he's described as Vibhu because that's a definition of Bhagavan. And this is also given in Vishnu Puran 6.5.47, where it says, Aishwaryasya samagrasya virasya yasasa shriya yana vairagyayoscha chaiva sanabhaga iti gana. So the translation is, one who possesses in full the 6 opulences, wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, is Bhagavan. So that's the definition of Bhagavan, because he actually has all the 6 opulences. And Prabhupada often emphasizes this definition when he's trying to explain who Bhagavan is. So now let's quickly discuss about his 6 opulences that he possesses. Before that, you know anyone who has all of the 6 opulences in full? Is there anyone that you can say that can be called Bhagavan? So if someone comes to you and says that, oh, I am Bhagavan, you ask them to show them their 6 opulences, and then you'll know who is who. Okay, so the first opulence, which is wealth, Aishwarya. Krishna owns everything. We all come from him. All the planets, all the demigods, everything rests upon him. Even Lakshmi Devi, who is the goddess of fortune, she is eternally serving him, and not just one Lakshmi Devi, but thousands of Lakshmi Devi. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So, yes, thousands and thousands of Lakshmis are serving him. So, who can be wealthier than him? If the goddess of fortune herself is serving him. In 5.5 also, like in this verse, that's why he's saying that he does not take our sin or piety, because he has all the power. He does not lack power. He owns everything already. Then the next opulence, which is strength, virya. So Krishna displays unlimited strength even as a child. How old was he when he killed Putana? That was Sakatasura. Yes. Yeah, yes. I mean, some say 6, 7, yeah. Anyways, a 6-7 day old child. He didn't perform any austerity, he didn't perform any penances, he didn't go to the gym to build his strength. He was just 6 day old, and yet he managed to take Putana's life. And then you said 3 months that was Sakatasura. So how did he kill Sakatasura? Anyone knows? Yeah. So did he use any external weapons or any other external physical strength? No, it was his own strength. So you see, it's a natural and it's unlimited. And that's how we see that Krishna is powerful. And not only that, he even lifted the Govardhan hill for 7 days on his left hand tiny little finger. Yeah, on the nail of tiny little finger. So There are numerous occasions where he has shown his strength. So we have no doubt about that. Then the next opulence is fame. His fame is universal. He appeared on this earth about 5,000 years ago, and yet we are still reading his pastimes, chanting his name daily, talking about him, and worshipping him in his form. And is there any political leader or celebrity that you remember from even 100 years ago? No, isn't it? But Krishna, there is no way of that we can forget him. And I'm just covering this in brief because, the purport was quite large and there's a lot of points to cover. So let's see what time allows me to do. And then the next opulence is beauty, which is Shri. So Krishna is described as the most beautiful. Even Cupid becomes attracted to him. And his beauty is actually not spiritual. It is spiritual, not material. And he's ever youthful. The Krishna we see in the form of deity, he's the same 16-year-old youth, never grows old, does not have gray hair, doesn't have wrinkles like we will do. So he's ever youthful and ever beautiful. And then the next opulence is knowledge. So who spoke this Bhagavad Gita that we're discussing about today? Krishna, exactly. So if you're following his teachings and everything that he has said, it's like exactly correct. There's no doubt about that. And he also says in 7.26 of Bhagavad Gita that he knows everything that has happened in the past, he knows everything that is happening now, and he also knows everything that is yet to come. So his knowledge is absolutely complete. And then the last opulence, which is renunciation, vairagya. So this one is especially important for understanding the verse today. Because, although he owns everything, as I mentioned earlier, he is detached. He does not actually, he has created, we are all his minute particles, he has created all these planets and everything basically, but yet he's aloof of it. He remains unaffected. And also, as stated in verse 9.9, he mentions there that these activities that actually don't bind him. And this is the true renunciation, owning everything, yet being detached, not being attached to anything. And then when we understand these opulences, we understand why Krishna is actually not implicated to our karma. Because we see that he's the most powerful, he's the most knowledgeable, he's fully independent, fully renounced. So he doesn't actually need our punya, nor is he diminished by our papa or our sinful activities. So it is us actually, we act, we desire, we choose. The only thing that he does is sanctions. If you look at it, as his minute particles, that is where our independence is coming from, because he's independent, and that's why we have his quality, that we are also independent. We are independent to desire. But because we are his minute particles, we have the minute independence to desire. So the only thing that we actually have independence to is that we can have our unlimited desires. But even to fulfill those desires, we need his sanction. Without that, it's not possible. And he's sitting as a Paramatma in our heart, and he knows about all our desires. Actually, we cannot be desireless. We need desires to keep moving in this world. The desires are what keeps everything moving in this world. So when we desire something, he makes the facility for it to be fulfilled. Now, let's connect this verse to another verse in Bhagavad Gita, which is verse 15.7, where he says that the living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. So this is exactly what I was trying to explain before, about we being the fragmental parts of Krishna and having that independence. Because Krishna is independence, we are getting our minute independence from him. And that independence, it allows us to love, to serve, or rebel. That's totally up to us what we desire. Actually, how did we come? How did we come in this material planet? I know you know the answer, Marilia. Come on.
We wanted to become God.
Sorry?
We wanted to become God.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to enjoy. We wanted to be the controller. We wanted to enjoy without Krishna. We wanted to feel what Krishna feels. And yeah, so we had that independence to have that desire, and we misused it, and we enter into this material existence out of our own choice. So can we blame God for our suffering? No. Sorry? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, if Krishna is saying that we are part and parcel of him, then wouldn't it be his responsibility to show us the right path?
Which he does.
But there and then.
He gives us the chance to desire, and he will send, it depends on us, isn't it, how surrendered we are. He has provided all the facility for us. He has given this knowledge to us. He has given us so many spiritual teachers and all the guidance. So it's totally up to us if we want to take that path or we don't. Most of the time what happens is, the way it happens is that we desire, and then we contemplate on that desire, and the moment when we think that we want to act on this desire, that's when Krishna, he comes into being, and he makes all the facilities for you to work on that desire. But before that, he gives you plenty of, if we actually surrender on to him, if we go and take the guidance, then he gives you the opportunity to rectify your desires. That's why devotees, because they're surrendered to Krishna, whenever, he's always there guiding them in form, sometimes if you have some, I don't know if it has happened to you, sometimes if you desire something that is actually not beneficial for your spiritual path, in one way or the other, he will make something happen that will change your desire or not fulfill the desire that you're having. And then later on you understand that, oh wait, maybe that was not the right thing that I was looking for.
So then, how come we see that there are so many sadhus or saints, and we see it in our scriptures as well, that they go through so much suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But if they've already come to Krishna, then why are they suffering?
That is also a very good question. But then again, it depends, isn't it? Okay, one thing that we need to understand is that, yes, that Krishna, he can take our karmas away, if he wants. But again, we have to pay for our karmas. Whatever we have done, we have to pay for it. But what he does is that sometimes he reduces. It's like, let's say, I cut my finger. I just have a tiny gash or something. Maybe what was meant to happen, depending on my karma, was I was supposed to actually lose my whole finger. But what he did is that he reduced the result of my karma, and now I just have a small cut. So we still have to face our karmas. He does not take that away. We still have to go through our results. But what he does is reduces. And the thing that we're calling suffering, actually, devotees that are very fully pure and they don't see it as suffering. They have no pain and suffering. We feel like, oh my God, they must be going through so much, but they are just fully devoted to Krishna. And sometimes it's also to set examples, to show that even when someone is suffering so much, still they're completely surrendered onto me. Yeah? Okay, so this material world, it exists because we desired it to be existing. We wanted to be the controller. We wanted to enjoy without Krishna. So Krishna has created this for us. But as Prabhupada describes, this world is actually like a reformatory institution. So, government, they build schools, they also build prisons. At the same time, it's the same government that is building schools and same government building prisons. Now, if someone goes to the prison, we do not blame the government, isn't it? That this person has gone to the prison because of you. Similarly, we can take another example, driving license, let's say. Now, everyone, they go through the certain tests, the exams or whatever, and then they get the driving license. Now, if this person uses that same license to perform a robbery, do a robbery somewhere, can we actually blame the government that it's you who gave the driving license to them and that is why they're doing this act? No, exactly. So yes, so this world, it exists, and it's our prison house, if you want to say it. And Maya Devi, she is the prison head, and she's the one actually poking us with her, her Trishul, or like Trident, like the three material modes of nature, and trying to teach us a lesson, to remind us that we need to go back to Krishna again. And times and again we go through, as Kishori was asking, why do we suffer? That suffering is sometimes because we are out of path, and Maya Devi is trying to tell us that, come on, wake up, realize yourself, and go back to that, go back to Krishna. So in this verse also, as I was explaining, the term Agnanenam Vritam Jnanam is used. Over here Krishna is saying that the knowledge is covered. He's not saying the knowledge is destroyed. So we have this eternal knowledge. But what happens is, when we are in this material world, because of ignorance, because of the modes of material nature that we engage with, that knowledge is somehow covered. And the simple analogy that we can think of is when the sun is shining and then there's a bulk of cloud that comes and covers it. Does that mean the sun is gone? No, it's not gone, it's still there. But it's just that our vision is obstructed. Similarly, our original nature is the eternal servant of Krishna. But because of ignorance, that realization is covered. That knowledge is covered. And, and this leads to this cycle of karma, as I mentioned earlier. Like, we are falsely identifying ourselves as the doer, as the body, and we think we are the controllers. And because of that, innumerable material desires manifest. And when we contemplate on these desires, we think about acting, and Krishna facilitates. And that, in result, gives to reaction and rebirth. So the cycle of karma goes on and on and on. And and it's not like Krishna is favoring one over the other. Sometimes we may feel that Krishna has given facilities to these devotees, that's why they have come into contact with Krishna consciousness or some kind of devotion, and they are in a better place than us. But it's not that, because Krishna is not favorable. He does not favor anyone. And we see that even in Mahabharata, when just before the war started, Krishna gave the opportunity to both the Pandavas and the Kauravas to decide, who, if they wanted Krishna on their side. Arjuna was clever, and he chose Krishna. Duryodhana, not so much. So he's not partial to anyone. But we have a good news, that this knowledge that has been covered by ignorance, it can actually be restored. And this is actually, Krishna explains this in the next verse. I don't want to steal the points for the person who's going to speak tomorrow. But he says that when knowledge is actually awakened, the ignorance is destroyed. And this is through bhakti, through devotional act. Srila Prabhupada repeatedly says that Krishna consciousness is actually the original consciousness of the living entity. So we are not adding anything artificial. We are just trying to uncover what already is existing there. So, I see that the time is running. I only have 8 minutes. So I will conclude my class that by saying that actually we are not the puppets and we are not the victims. We are a responsible soul with divine potentials. And Krishna is actually not the cause of our suffering. We ourselves are. We just need to realize that and turn to Krishna. And He will be there to guide us. So Krishna He's actually constantly trying to remove that ignorance. And He's doing that through His name, because it has the same potency as He Himself. So He has sent, the merciful incarnation of Chaitanya. He has come Himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and given us that holy name. He has sent His, fellow warriors like Prabhupada to empower us and, give us this knowledge. The whole Guru Parampara, in fact. And also given us the association of devotees, just like all of you have gathered here today. I mean, maybe like, maybe you just thought of coming and seeing the deities, but here you are seated in a Gita class and trying to associate with devotees, and hopefully I'm making sense and you're getting something out of the class. So that is all due to his mercy and due to his, his warriors like Prabhupada's mercy. And so the real question becomes like, will we choose the knowledge, or will we remain to be covered? That is a choice that we have to make. Do we actually want to take up this path that has been given to us, or we want to stay covered and be in this ignorance? The choice is ours. So we have 6 more minutes, and I will stop here so that if anyone has any questions, they can ask. Any questions? Yes?
I have a question. I was wondering, you're saying that it's impossible for the soul to not desire.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we purify our desires?
That's a very good question, yes. Yeah, so, as I mentioned that it is, it's natural for us to desire. Even Krishna desires, and that is why we desire. But the way we can change that is we start desiring for Krishna. We cannot stop desiring, so instead of having material desires, we turn into spiritual desires. So let's say, sorry, I'm also having a cold. So let's say if we are desiring to have something tasty, for instance. So instead of just desiring to have something tasty, we can desire to have some tasty prasadam. Let's say if you want to listen to something good, like, listen to some good music, or, have some, then instead of listening to just any random Bollywood song or Hollywood song or whatever you listen to, we can listen to some kirtan. So desire is always going to be there. It's just that we have to change it to spiritual desire so that we can serve Krishna and engage our senses in serving Krishna. Yeah? Anyone else has any question? There is no such thing as dumb question or foolish question, so feel free to ask anything that you'd like to ask. No? Okay, so we have 4 minutes, and then we'll have the Gaura Aarti, the evening Aarti that is. So I encourage everyone for you to stay, and thank you all for your time and patience. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
What is it? Next Wednesday, we're having Sri Vastakur's appearance day. So 1 week on the 11th. And Kripa Mahaprabhu should be giving a class. It's 5:30. If it's possible to get any kind of guidance for him, that would be nice. I mean, I don't know if you have to make one specially for him. You can maybe get a Maha garland, or something like that. But whatever.
We see whatever flowers we have.
Whatever works
How
for
good they last the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But of it, yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Haribo. Okay, Hare Krishna, everybody. In a couple of minutes or less, we'll be having Arati, so I'm just requesting everybody to stand up for the Arati. And if you'll notice, at the back of the temple room, we have the Murti of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. So we don't want to have our backs directly to Srila Prabhupada, yes? He's facing the deities. The Lord is also looking at His dearmost servant. So we want to keep at least a narrow corridor at the center of the temple room. You don't have to cram yourselves against the walls. Yeah, we can just keep a narrow corridor. And especially if you see somebody come in and just stand right in front of Prabhupada with their back to them, you can ask them to move to the left or the right. Thank you very much. Do you want to sing? It'll come up. I just want to tell all the singers as well to keep it simple, like don't go all over the universe with the melodies. You know, like some people like to, some singers they sing like so many different.
Yeah, but I think I have to do what I know now.
That's okay.
I have to,
That's okay. Whatever works for you.
okay.
Oh, she wants
श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की जय सिया राम लखन हनुमान की जय श्री गौनिताय की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की बजयो जयो गौरा चांदे आरती को शोभा ब्रह्मा आदि देवगणे आरती करे ना ब्रह्मा आदि देवगणे श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा। Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की जय सिया राम लखन हनुमान की जय श्री गौर निताय की जय श्री शिला प्रभुपाद की
Now we're going to say Premadwani prayers. Please everybody bow down and touch your head to the floor. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtutara Sata Shri Shrimad. His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtutara Sata Shri Shrimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Yamuna Mai Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Tulasi Devi Ki. Samaveta Bhaktavrinda Ki. Jayanitai Gaura Premanandi Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories unto the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Can I request everyone to sit down for 5 minutes, please? We'll have the nursing prayers for our protection. Thank you. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Daine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Vilatankana Kalae. Ito na नसिमो परतो नसिमो यतो यतो यामि ततो नसिमो बाहे नसिमो हृदये नसिमो नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे अवकर कमल वरे नखान अद्भुत श्रृंगार दालितार हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवदीता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे कर कमल वरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद श्री नरसिंह भगवान की प्रहलाद महाराज की गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. Thank you very much all for attending the Aarti. Prasadam is now being served outside in the adjacent room, and the next Aarti will be at 9 o'clock. There will be some kirtans as well, so we'll see.
So, that's okay. In the same way that the same tune we're singing Lord. Jaya Jaya So as soon as you see Prabhupada's Pranam, you start with the same note. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna. Right? And then from there, everything else comes together. So at the evening, yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Yeah, it's the same tune. Like right now, you're defaulting to the rhythms from Prabhupada's Pranam. So, Namo, Nama. Prabhupada actually sang Samsara Dava Nalalita Loka. Most of, yeah, he was very steady.